Alright, this one's factoring part 2, trinomials. And these are basic trinomials. And when I say basic, well, I'll show you my first example. First of all, this is my trinomial. Trinomial is a polynomial with 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. I call it basic because the leading coefficient is 1, or you don't see a coefficient. Okay? And when I say leading, it's going to be the power or the coefficient on x squared term. Okay, so it's basic because you only have to really deal with 40 and the negative 14. And here's how we do it. Trinomials are going to factor into 2 binomials. The first part is relatively easy. What times what gives me x squared? Well, you have no choice. X times x gives me x squared. Now, you have several choices for what times what gives me positive 40. You have positive 1, positive 40, positive 2, positive 20, 3, no, 4, yeah, 4 and 10, 5 and 8. Is there more? Yeah. Is there? No, I don't think so. Okay. Is there more? 6, 7, 8, no. Alright. The problem is, there are actually, these aren't it. There's more. It's negative 1, negative 40, negative 2, negative 20, negative 4, negative 10, negative 5, negative 8. Now, those are all possible ways I can multiply 2 numbers to get positive 40. Now, the way we choose, only one of these is the correct answer. The way we choose that correct answer, we look at the middle term. Now, which combination of these numbers, when combined through integer addition, gives me negative 14? Well, this is the one. Negative 4 plus negative 10 gives me negative 14. So that's my answer. And when I hear negative 4, negative 10, I basically write minus 4, minus 10. And that's it. So here's what happened. I take the factors of my last term and look for the combination that's going to give me the middle term. Right? I look at the factors of the last term and look for the combination of factors when added together gives me the middle term. Another example. Again, the basic ones, it's always going to be x here, or something like that. Now, what are the factors of 6 that combine to make 5? Well, there's not too many choices here. 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Now, in this one, let's see, other choices are negative 1, negative 6, negative 2, negative 3. Alright, which of these combine to make positive 5? Well, the positive versions. So it's going to be x plus 2, x plus 3. Now, be careful. You might be tempted to say, well, 6 and 1. 6 minus 1 gives me 5. But they have to be the same sign to get a positive 6. So in this case, I end up having to add the 1 and 6, which does not combine to make 5. You'll see what I'm talking about when the third term is a negative. Meantime, we're going to do a couple more of these. By the way, I'm going to do about 9 of these examples. And the next one, number 3, is very similar to 1 and 2. So once I write the problem, if you want to stop the video and see if you can do it yourself, now is a good time. Alright. So I'm going to break this up. X squared is x and x. What are the factors of 12 that combine to make 7? Well, choices are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. They have to be, this tells me they have to be the same sign. This one tells me they have to be positive. So I'm going to only list the positives. Okay? And 3 plus 4 makes 7. So that's why. That's why we choose 3 and 4. Next example. Number 4. Number 4 is also like numbers 1, 2, and 3. So if you want to pause the video and work it out yourself, go ahead and pause it now. Again, we're starting with x and x. What are the factors of 20? Well, 1, 20, 2, 10, 4, 5. Are there any more? Well, I'm thinking that's it. 4 plus 5 make 9, but that's a minus 9. So we need the negative versions. Negative 1, negative 20. Well, we know which one to think, so I'm going to just go straight to that one. Negative 4, negative 5. Negative 4 plus negative 5 give me minus 9. And negative 4 times negative 5 will give me positive 20. So those are my factors. Okay. One more example of that type. Number 5 is very similar through 1 through 4. If you want to stop the video and try it yourself, go ahead. Alright, x squared is again x and x. What are the factors of 20 that combine to make negative 12? 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. Excuse me. These are positive versions. We need negative versions. Okay. Alright, negative 2 plus negative 10 gives me negative 12. That's it. That's number 5. Number 6 is a little different, so you might want to watch. But it's not too different. This time, my sign here is negative. And it looks like my middle coefficient is not there. Remember, if you don't see a number in front of a variable, it's basically a 1. Okay? So I write that in there for emphasis. I don't recommend you do that. But if you need it to just keep your mind straight, go ahead. Alright, so my goal is I'm going to get a negative 1 with my combination of factors of minus 20. So here, again, x and x. But this time, note, I have to get a minus 20 or a negative 20. So the signs have to be different. So it's either negative 1 positive 20 or positive 1 negative 20. Or negative 2 positive 10. Positive 2, negative 10, and so forth. Negative 4, positive 5, positive 4, negative 5. Okay. Now, when I add these, negative 1 plus 20, remember this is integer addition. So negative 1 plus 20 gives me positive 19. Negative 2 positive 10 gives me positive 8. Negative 4 positive 5 gives me positive 1. And here, it's the negative versions. So this time, my answer is positive 4 and negative 5. Positive 4 means I put plus 4. Negative 5 means I put minus 5. That's it. That's number 6. If you think you understand that, number 7 will be a similar example. Once I write the problem down, you can pause the video and try it yourself. Alright, there's number 7. If you think you got it, pause it and see if you can work it out. Here we go. X squared is x and x. What are the factors of negative 12 that combine to make 4? 1 and negative 12, negative 1, positive 12. Sorry, I'm not very consistent the way I write it. My brain doesn't work very consistently. 3, negative 4. By the way, you don't have to write all possible combinations. If you think you spotted it, like this one, negative 2 plus positive 6 gives me positive 4. You can just go to that one. So it's minus 2 plus 6. Okay? Just double check it. Okay. If you want to double check your work, this is just something for yourself. I didn't do it with the rest of the problems, and I'm not going to do it with the here on in either. I'm just going to do it for number 7. If you want to check to see if you got the right answer, or if you need convincing why this works, here's what you do. Remember foiling order distributive property. What I want to do is take the x and distribute over x plus 6. Or first, would be x times x, x squared. And then outside, x times 6, which gives me plus 6x. Inside, minus 2 times x, or I'm distributing the minus 2 now. Minus 2 times positive 6 is minus 12. So this becomes x squared plus 4x minus 12. So what I've done here is to verify that these two binomials multiplied together give me the original trinomial. Okay? I haven't done it with any of the problems. This is only for self-checking. Okay? Notice I was almost guaranteed that these the first term and the last term would be correct because of the way I chose those. Right? X squared, well, there's only x times x. 12, I looked at the factors of 12. to give me these numbers. So that was guaranteed to be correct. What was not guaranteed to be correct was the middle term, right? Because there are so many different combinations. Okay, now I'm going to do number 8. Number 8 is very similar to numbers 6 and 7. It's very similar to number 6. If you want to pause the video and try it on your own, go ahead. Here we go, x squared. X squared is x and x. What are the factors of negative 42 that combine to make positive 1? Well, 6 and 7 come to mind. It's either going to be negative 6, positive 7, or positive 6, negative 7. Because they're so close together, right? We need to get a positive 1. Negative 6 plus 7 gives us positive 1. So it's going to be minus 6 plus 7. Okay. And last example. I'm running out of paper. X squared minus 3x minus 18. Again, this one's similar to the ones we've just done, 6, 7, and 8. If you want to pause the video, try it out. Just pause it now. Okay, here we go. So x squared is x and x. Now what are the factors of minus 18 that combine to make negative 3? Or what are the factors of negative 18 that combine to make negative 3? The ones that come to my mind is negative 6 and positive 3. Minus 6, positive 3. Negative 6 plus 3 gives me negative 3. And negative 6 times positive 3 gives me the negative 18. And that's it. That's the end of this video. Bye-bye.